We don't have an intro to this podcast. Maybe we'll have one later.
And we're not live, but we are Film Crew.
Yes, we are film idiots. My name is Quan.
And I'm Gasper.
And what are we talking about
And once
today?
again, we're Film
Oh,
Crew.
well, yeah, we're having a meeting about that. Some What are we talking about today?
We are talking about soundtracks and scores and music and sounds and everything to do with what you hear during a film.
Okay, so sound in general. All right, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
We do have an Instagram that we put out a poll to talk about what people's or we had like a little bracket system to figure out what people liked in terms of soundtracks for
Yeah.
specific movies.
So so originally we had a bracket, but then I realized it wasn't going to make any sense because you were going to have movies like Titanic
Yeah,
versus a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy.
right.
So, we decided to do their individual polls and, categorize them as best as we could. And from the looks of it, it did pretty good.
Yeah,
This is the first time we try this, and I mean, I like the results. I
yeah,
was I was expecting kind of like a 50-50, but it actually got really diverse throughout.
yeah.
So we put this out like around
8, 9 p.m.
8 o'clock, I think, last night,
Yeah,
maybe 9. Yeah, so almost 12 hours. Um, and yeah, it actually, yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the results.
yeah. The
So,
interactive process was pretty good. Just
yeah,
interacting with people.
we're definitely gonna try this again on a future episode. Maybe a little earlier so people have more time to vote.
Right.
But do you want to hear the results?
Ah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's hear the results.
So I'm not gonna do it based off of actual votes. I'm just gonna do it percentage because
Yeah,
Instagram does both. And I don't know if we said it already, but find us at Film Crew 7 on Instagram.
yeah. Down below.
All right.
So
So
here.
the first one, we did 80s, which was Ghostbusters versus Back to the Future,
Ah, nice.
and we got a 55% on Back to the Future. So the power of love, guys.
Damn. You know what? It's like I think both of those movies really have good soundtracks, and that's why there's like
Yeah.
one. It's like a little bit difficult to choose between Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. I
Yeah.
do like Back
I,
to the Future more though, honestly.
yeah. I think Ghostbusters has the more iconic song,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, Back to the Future kind of
it has a
like
better range.
all the songs
Yeah,
like throughout. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that yeah, I think yeah, I agree with that. Back to the Future. Next one was ballads, and that was a blowout.
really.
I'm surprised. Yeah, so it was The Bodyguard versus Titanic,
Oh,
and
and
Titanic got 83%. So
oh, I
a
mean
very
that's
Titanic win.
yeah. Well,
um,
I get that. Oh, I think Celine Dion has an amazing voice, and I think her
yeah,
song is more iconic in terms of like even
I
memes. Like they have
yeah,
the song.
I feel like Whitney Houston's song in The Bodyguard might have done better sales though throughout. I'm
Really?
not sure.
Throughout
I mean,
when it came out?
it might be the number one song in film, like original song, like with lyrics. Don't
Oh,
quote me on it, but I'm just surprised.
yeah. I think
I mean,
espe-
I like the Titanic
yeah.
soundtrack, but I'm just surprised that more people voted for Titanic.
I think especially in the younger like millennial audience,
Yeah,
Celine Dion's song is
Yeah.
more prevalent. So
And what? I mean, I can't even remember Titanic. Like their actual soundtrack, like apart from that song.
yeah,
Like I don't know how to explain it, but like the instruments that they use are
and
really
yeah,
iconic too throughout the movie.
right.
So the next one is musicals, and
Ah, very good.
uh, another blowout. This one was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It was Grease versus Mary Poppins, and Grease got 86%
Yep.
versus 14. So, I mean, Grease, iconic movie,
Right.
iconic cast,
Yep.
iconic music.
Yep.
Um, Frankie Valli with the theme song, really good. I actually so the whole reason behind this episode was because of this song, Grease.
Yeah.
I heard it on the radio, I think like midweek or something, and I was just like, why don't we just do soundtracks at this point? Like we haven't tried it,
Right.
and I don't think we ever talked about it throughout in any of our episodes. So why don't we just make a whole episode about soundtracks?
Right.
And I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Grease 86%.
Yeah. I don't think
Uh,
it's the fact that Mary Poppins was bad. It's just that more people again like and know of Grease and their soundtrack a lot more than Mary Poppins. So I
yeah. Next one is crime, and I decided to do Goodfellas versus Pulp Fiction,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean before I share the results, this is actually surprising. Goodfellas actually has a really good soundtrack, but so does Pulp Fiction, and I think
Right.
Pulp Fiction is a game changer when it came to soundtrack, and I think
Right.
that's why um, it's actually a blowout again.
Again.
Pulp Fiction 73%, Goodfellas 27.
Oh. I didn't. Yeah, I had a because I also had opinions on this bracket or poll because I didn't really remember like I remember the Pulp Fiction's soundtrack
Mm-hmm.
just because it was like like everybody kind of knows it even if you're not really into soundtracks or you don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't remember Goodfellas soundtrack too much. So that
I
was
mean,
easy
I
one.
think both movies are from the 90s, but Goodfellas might be 80s.
Right.
So it picks up, I mean, it tells a story like from what, the 60s to the 80s?
Yeah.
Something like that. It might be, I think it's a 90s movie. So it's like 60s to the 90s. So it has all those soundtracks from like back then to like the current time at that
Right.
time. But Pulp Fiction, same thing. Like it's based in the 90s, but yet it uses music from the
Just
50s
yeah.
even, and it's still it works. Like a lot of those scenes actually improve because of the music.
Right.
But same thing as Goodfellas. So yeah, like I said, surprising, but kind of expected.
Okay.
Next one was horror,
Horror.
and I think you chose this one, which was Jaws versus Halloween.
Yep. Cause
And a little background. This is almost like a orchestra versus one man type
yeah.
thing,
Yeah, I believe so.
and
Jaws. Jaws was
and
the orchestra, and then Halloween was yeah, just a piano.
yeah,
I
pretty
think.
pretty much. John Carpenter made that movie pretty much all by himself.
Yeah.
It's one of the earliest indie films, I think,
Yeah.
and it was pretty close. Jaws got the 54% versus
Yeah.
46 against Halloween.
I think
And
soundtracks are really important in horror movies. because it depending on what, even the major minor, like the speed, the tempo, uh
Mm-hmm.
it really affects the person's like mood, and that's why
Yeah.
you feel like really uncomfortable when you hear like different horror soundtracks.
Right. I I think that Jaws does better
Yeah.
in that realm. When you hear that, you know something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Same thing for Halloween, but uh I think in the original Halloween that that uh that theme song kind of just is a little overused compared to Jaws, because Jaws, that is the shark's theme song. So
Yeah.
every time you hear that, you know the shark is gonna come attack. In Halloween, I want to say it's played just pretty much almost every time something scary is about to start,
Yeah.
and it's not always gonna Michael.
Right.
So yeah, um, yeah, I gotta agree with that one. I like the Jaws one.
It does help that they had a whole team versus one person.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Uh, wow. So we got the comic book one,
Right.
and we did Guardians of the Galaxy versus Into the Spider Verse,
Right.
and I think this is the biggest one. It's 92% versus 8%.
That makes sense. Fucking
Um,
the Hulk
yeah,
set by
Guardians.
itself is like its own
Yeah,
fucking
Guardians of the
realm.
Galaxy. Uh, I think used all music from the 70s,
Yeah.
pretty much, for this movie, and it's all known songs.
Yep.
Um, while Into the Spider Verse used an original song. Uh, I want to say it's called Sunflower.
I
I think it's
maybe.
called Sunflower. And yeah, I mean, two completely different movies.
Yep.
You know, first of all, one's live action, one's animation, but I think you really got to hear Spider-Man's soundtrack
Right.
a little more. It kind of goes with the movie more than Guardians, I believe.
Yeah.
It's just Guardians uses the music better, while Spider-Man kind of like it flows better.
Yeah.
Like each song is meant for the scene, and it kind of like captures what's going on in the scene.
Yeah. I
While
get it.
Guardians is kind of just throwing music on top of a scene.
Yeah.
They both work though. They both
Yeah.
work. Um, yeah, that this was expected. Um, I think we got a couple more. Uh, so we got driving, which is like kind of like my Baby Driver
Yeah.
versus your Tokyo Drift,
Yeah.
and it was pretty close. I think it was down the middle for majority of the time, and then Baby Driver just took the lead like at the end
Damn.
at 53% versus 47.
Wait, that's the
Um,
result?
that's the result.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that was close. I, this Tokyo Drift makes me want to fucking race.
Yeah,
It
that
just
their
makes me want
theme
to
song in that
race.
one is definitely like a big hit. Um, I think we were discussing it when we were talking about like, oh, what should we do?
Yeah.
Baby Driver definitely popped into my mind,
Yeah.
and what what's his name?
Well, you
Edgar
talk.
Wright.
Yeah.
What he how he uses the music in this movie. is pretty insane. We've seen hints at it like on his past films, like
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead and stuff. But this one specific, he kind of like uses the beat to flow the movie at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Right.
a lot of there's a scene where there's a lot of uh guns shooting,
Yeah.
and if you pay attention, you can tell that they're using the sound of the gun to reflect the song that's playing, and
Yeah.
I think that's insane. I don't think I've ever seen that other than from Edgar Wright, and a movie like Baby Driver. It was pretty cool to see.
I
But
agree.
yeah, I agree. Tokyo Drift. Yeah,
Gets
I mean,
it
when you
gets
hear
your
that song, you just
right.
want to like, you definitely want to drift, and you definitely want to drive super fast,
It gets
like
your
the
heart
movie.
racing.
Yeah,
Even like
I agree with that.
builds up adrenaline.
And I think we're on our last one, which was animation, which
Animation.
I'm actually surprised on because I was going for the one that lost, but it was a Coco versus Shrek.
Oh, that is no brainer. Shrek. Come on now. God, study up
So
on
yeah, Shrek
meme
ended up
culture more.
winning 56-44,
Yeah.
and
It's a
it
fight
is what it
between
is. I mean,
a musical animation and meme culture
right.
because
Yeah. So I think we grew up with Shrek.
yeah,
Uh what is it, 2001 maybe?
probably.
I think it's 2001.
Yeah.
I can't think of it being any earlier or later than 2001. But I'm surprised.
I'm not.
I
I'm
really
not.
thought like, Coco being the later movie with the big song, um, it being a Disney Pixar movie was gonna take the lead somehow, but no. I mean, Shrek definitely has a really good soundtrack, and yeah, I mean, I can't argue with it
Yeah.
because I mean the results are in, but
Yeah.
yeah,
The,
I mean,
Shrek is literally life. You can't fuck with Shrek. All right. Shrek. Not to mention that the only reason why Smash Mouth is a thing is honestly because of Shrek. Because when you think of Smash
yeah.
Mouth, you think of All Stars. I don't know. I think Shrek is just a fourth dimensional being now. He transcended into the fourth dimension. He works with the Illuminati. And he is his own god. The soundtrack is still good too. The soundtrack is still good.
Yeah, yeah. The Yeah, I think the Shrek soundtrack is iconic. Same thing, the movie's iconic. Um, yeah, I mean that was pretty good. The polls were, they were a hit. I think. Um, yeah. I mean, is there any movie that you wanted to see on there that you think has a good soundtrack?
Uh, I think I think we were talking about the brackets. This was before we changed it into the polls, and we were talking about brackets. And I was thinking Starship Troopers is a really good one
Okay.
because you have the sense of fucking patriotism in it, and like makes you want to fucking serve your country, and that's kind of the whole point
Hmm.
is to make fun of like movies about like patriotism kind of like a
Right.
little
Yeah.
satire. And yeah, like it's like a whole spoof. So having a soundtrack that makes you like really want to get pumped and go out and do things is it's really good.
Right. Um, one soundtrack that I just found out like who made it was the Social Network, the Facebook story.
Oh yeah, right,
So uh, I recently watched the movie Soul. I think I talked about it a past episode, but
right.
I started doing a little digging on Soul, and I wanted to see who composed the music, and it was actually Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails.
Mm,
So I was like, is this the only movie that he's done? And he's done The Social Network too, and I think that's a Oscar winning soundtrack.
damn. Well, you know it's good if
So
it's
that
Oscar winning.
yeah, well, uh, I really like a lot of Tarantino soundtracks. Like
Right.
how he uses his music is really good.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, from the beginning, like Reservoir Dogs to the most his most recent Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Right.
the music he chooses for his movies and for his scenes really work. And I mean, I can go on and on about that soundtrack, but
Right.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like if we would have put more Tarantino films in the polls, I think it would have been like majority
Yeah.
Tarantino.
Right. We could mask it with
Um,
like, Howard Shore, because Lord of the Rings. That's a fucking good
yeah,
one. That's
yeah. What do you think about what's the composer that's doing a lot of movies right now? Is it Hank Zimmer?
oh yeah, yeah. He did.
He's doing like a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah.
I think he's doing like what Justice League, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, honestly,
I don't know.
I can't
There's a
remember.
lot out there.
Yeah, I can't remember because I know he did a lot of superhero stuff, but I just can't remember what it sounded like, and that might sound pretty bad. But he does good work as well. I'm not saying he
Hmm.
sucks. I just can't remember any up on the top of my head. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I mean like composing's pretty important. Soundtracks are important in a movie. Sound is pretty
Yeah.
important too. I think
Yeah.
you're talking about what your question was. What were you going to talk about? Like scores versus soundtracks?
Yeah. So, from my understanding, I didn't do my research, so I apologize. But I think soundtrack is using like original music,
Right.
while original score is using like music just meant for that movie.
Oh.
I think soundtrack is just like music that has already been produced and stuff, and then used in the film.
Oh.
So like kind of like Pulp Fiction has original soundtrack because I don't think there's any score in that movie. While a movie like I'm trying to think here.
So you're
Oh
You're
my god.
saying that soundtracks can be used for other movies?
Yeah, yeah. It's not like specifically for that movie and then score it. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Because I'm trying to remember. I think soundtrack
Like,
refers
like
to,
a movie, like a movie like Saving Private Ryan.
yeah,
It doesn't have any like actual songs. They're all like, you know, written for that movie and the
right,
scenes of that movie. While like I said, like a movie like Pulp Fiction, where it has no like orchestra, no one making music for the scenes. They're reusing music that's already been made for the
yeah.
scenes. I think that's the difference. But at the
Well,
same time, uh, Saving Private Ryan, if you look at the soundtrack, it's going to be all the music from the scenes
right.
that like orchestra. I think that's the difference. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, soundtracks refer to like any song. Fuck. Yeah, soundtracks are like songs in the movie. Sounds or like music in the movie. So it doesn't just have to deal with like specific like orchestra or words or anything. I think scores are just musical numbers that are a part of one specific scene. Or like I
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. I can look it up. But I think that's what it is if I remember.
Well, before we look it up and everything, let's get a couple people mad that actually know the answer,
Yeah.
and we'll give you guys the actual definition of each on next episode.
Yeah.
Because I feel like still a lot to talk about when it comes to sound in film.
Right. Yeah.
And speaking of sound, A Quiet Place.
Oh, you wanted to get into that. I was going to do because we were talking about like sound design. And I said I could
Hmm.
probably make a whole episode just on sound design and like sound effects. Uh,
Well, let's try that then. Let's try it next episode. We'll. How about this? Since a lot of these movies were once, or a lot of these polls were one sided,
yeah.
let's do a second round for you guys. So whichever movie won from this round, we'll put them up against another movie, pretty similar. That way, it's a little harder because I feel like a lot of these were easy.
Yeah.
And let's get into more sound next episode.
More like musical. Because that was a joke. Well, let me just get into a quiet place. So there's something called
No, yeah, go for it.
in the industry called a Foley artist, and what they do is they pretty much make any sounds in the movie that the camera can't quite pick up, right? And we're talking about a quiet place because when the monster opens his eyes or its little holes in his face, it makes like a
Hmm.
really crackling noise, like the
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Foley artist who made that specific sound used like celery to make the sound of the eyes opening, like the breaking of the celery.
yeah,
So it's really intricate,
yeah.
and it
Yeah,
could,
I've seen behind the scenes of movies like that, and it's really cool to see.
yeah. And it's in a Foley room, and it doesn't just have to like they can literally just like walk on the floor to imitate the sound of walking. It doesn't just have to
Yeah,
be like really like elaborate like tomatoes being thrown into wall to make sounds of splatter or anything like that.
right. Yeah,
They just make sound in general. So
and what's the how would I say it? Is that to improve the scene
yeah,
of the movie?
yeah, cause it 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 it, it, it would Fuck. Uh, it. God damn it. It would look weird, right? If. Oh, Jesus Christ, come on, man. Words! It would look weird if the monster opened its eyes and nothing is being portrayed for the sound, right?
Right. Yeah.
It makes the scene, especially because I remember like the monster was like really close to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just hear nothing but the eyes opening, and it like it's fucking freaky as shit.
Did you enjoy that movie?
Yeah,
I got like a lot of responses from that movie, like seeing it in theaters,
yeah,
that it was kind of like a waste to see it in theaters because there was really no sound.
yeah.
It was just trying to stay quiet throughout the film. But I mean,
Makes
it
it
made
better.
it intense for
Yeah.
me. I
Oh yeah.
I I gotta say I was probably gripping the the arm of the chair, on some of those scenes pretty tight because
Right.
like I said, it wasn't scary. Like, I mean, it's a horror movie, but it wasn't scary. It was really intense, though.
Yeah.
Like,
In agreement.
yeah. Um, has there been another movie that does something like that?
It.
That's just
it
pretty much like quiet throughout the whole film.
well, I wasn't gonna say quiet, but there's a. I was gonna talk about the Bird Box. Uh, the fucking one with the they can't look,
Oh,
the
it's Sandra
Netflix one.
Bullock.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Didn't
don't
see it.
I don't think it had the same effect as a Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, they didn't let you have the immersion of sound with a soundtrack and things. To make a Bird Box scary, they would have to literally. The whole point was you can't see, but you're able to see
Hmm.
because you're able to. That's how you're gonna watch the movie without seeing the movie. It's kind of weird. Um,
Yeah,
so I
yeah. It didn't intrigue me.
yeah, because if we're gonna talk about movies where you can't see the monster, that's fine. But you got like the Blair Witch Project.
Hmm.
Uh, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't see the monster ever, right? And
No.
there was a reason why that worked because it wasn't trying to make you have the illusion of not being able to see, but the illusion of watching literally a found footage. The whole
Right.
the whole point of the Bird Box was you weren't able to see the movie because if you see the movie, you'll see the monster. If you see the monster, you'll die. But you can't not see the movie because how would you watch the movie?
Right.
And I
So
don't
you're kind of going like a little 4D on that, right?
yeah. So I don't
Breaking the fourth wall type thing.
yeah, I think the illusion of sight needs to be really important in like horror movies.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, cause I mean, not because I don't want to, but I've never seen the Blair Witch Project just because I haven't had access to it, and it's always hard for me to try and
Yeah.
find. And I just decided to watch another movie. But that's definitely one on my like top 50, top 100 list to
Yeah.
watch. But I mean, I've seen scenes of it. I get the whole point of that movie. And has there been a movie before that has done something like that where you don't see what's going on? The found footage, the the shaky cam. I think I want to say that's the first film to do so. and
Oh,
that's why it's such a big hit. And I mean, it was cheap to make, and it got such a good response.
right.
And yeah, like you said, like you don't see the monster at all. You depend on the actors acting
Yeah.
to tell the story, um and yeah, I really want to watch that movie.
Right.
I speaking of like kind of like found footage type thing, I did get kind of like freaked out from Paranormal Activity.
Oh, we're gonna
That was
talk.
pretty like
I
I know
Yeah.
we're pretty much just drifting off at this
We're
point,
drift.
but it's just connection after connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, um,
The the
that
the,
one was
the,
pretty creepy for
the
me, in my opinion.
yeah. The main point I was trying to make is every horror movie has this gimmick. I'm not saying the Bird Box is bad. I just didn't get
Hmm.
it's. I didn't think the gimmick works. Uh, but the Quiet Place, its gimmick was the sound. You can't hear shit or you can't make noises, and
Right.
goes back to my point of you're talking about it's a waste of watching the movie. But when in the movie theater, because I've seen horror movies in or horror movies in theaters before, and it breaks it would break the illusion because I have there so many people would like because I've done it too. Like I would like talk to my friends because I'm freaked out, or I would hear people shouting, literally,
Yeah.
"What the fuck are you doing? He's right there," or "It's right
Yeah.
there," or right.
Hmm.
And a quiet place would destroy the immersion if you do that.
Yeah.
Because if you make a sound, the monster will get you.
Right.
I don't know. So, with the whole fucking the reverberation of every sound that the movie makes. I don't know. It's more intense, and you can't. You'll actually fucking destroy everyone's immersion if you make noises in that movie.
Yeah. I I like how you brought that up. So it's weird. It's weird for me. When it comes to movie theaters, you know, you're watching it with public, viewers, other
Yeah,
viewers, and you know, there every time you go see it, you take the gamble of people talking
yeah,
during the movie, and it is what it is. I mean, it's your fault that you're gonna go watch the movie at a movie theater. Yeah, they tell you not to talk during the movie. They tell you not to use your phone during the movie. It's gonna happen though. I mean, it's not a law that you can't do that.
yeah,
Um, I am 50-50 when it comes to things like that. When people like you know are disturbing the movie,
yeah.
then that's when I get like a little upset. Like, I paid X amount of dollars to watch,
All right.
a movie, and you're gonna basically mess it up for me. But at the same time, when you go to premieres, especially, I think the last premiere I went to go see might have been Endgame, and
Mm,
uh, everybody in that movie theater was invested in that
yeah.
movie. So you had cheering when this character came out. You got yelling when what happened to this character. You got crying pretty much at the end and stuff like that.
When people
And you
died,
know
run.
uh when and I find it fun. I find
Yeah,
it super fun when you have an audience like that where
yeah,
they're as invested as you are. But when it comes to like other movies where it's not a big deal,
yeah,
and you got people like kind of like saying like giving their own opinion during the movie,
yeah,
it takes away from your viewing. You're there to enjoy the movie, and then if someone is doing something to distract you from it, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm 50-50 for it. Don't talk during the movie, unless it's like, something big happening and, you're rooting for the character to do something, go for it. I
Yeah.
mean, you're there to watch the movie with people. That's the thing. But there's a certain point where it gets annoying versus having fun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, I think that's all we got. Maybe.
I mean, we're definitely gonna transition over to another episode dealing with all this. I think,
Right.
I hope. Uh, I mean, if not, we'll just make like half an episode on, you know, on this, and then the other half. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
where we're at next week.
Okay.
But I think it's time to go film.
Oh, well, we're not going to talk about that. We'll just
We're not
say
gonna talk about
no. We're not going to talk about that. Nope. Let it happen naturally. All I'm going to say is, if you're watching this on YouTube, we got stuff right here. And I think I keep forgetting where I put your fucking tags and all the tags. But over there, there's stuff over there. I think I don't put it here. I put it there. I put stuff here for our YouTube channel. Uh I think the Instagram tags and Twitter I put over there on that side. And
I
I
feel
don't
like you're pointing at the
yeah.
same thing,
Yeah.
the same corner.
I don't
Well,
remember what I
actually, uh, really quick, how do you have your view right now? Because we're using Discord to you know to help us record this. But how do you have it right now? Because I have it like you're below me, like
oh,
we're in two rectangles. I'm here and then you're down here.
you're here and I'm here.
Okay, got it. That's why I see you pointing, and I see you
Yeah.
pointing over here, and it's like you're pointing at the same direction. Um, yeah, just just a little shout out. Um, I know we talked about it like before, but we're using Anchor to record,
Yep.
or not really using it, but that's our platform. And as you may see, we're not in the same room.
Oh yeah. See,
We're not even in the same place.
I can't do
We're
this.
barely in the same city, actually.
Oh
Ow,
yeah,
ow.
we're if you haven't realized, in Mars. What? No. But yeah,
um.
we are using Anchor.
So yeah, just want to throw out Anchor, for helping us make this.
Yeah.
12 episodes using Anchor, and so far so good. I like
Yeah.
it. We transitioned over to record on what are we on Discord?
Yeah.
Discord to see each other, but we're using another platform to record, and it's really cool. So you know, check us out on YouTube. Uh, this video is going to be on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at FilmCrew7. uh, what else? We're on Twitter at CrewFilm, but that hasn't really been updated. But
Oh,
if you
I
start following us, we will update.
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, you can find this podcast pretty much anywhere you listen to, uh, other podcasts. Also, like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, even Anchor. If you guys have Anchor, you guys can actually hear us on there. So,
Yep.
but yeah, but if you guys want to see us, just look us up on YouTube at Film Crew,
The
the Film
the film
Crew.
crew. The Film Crew, not Film
Okay,
Crew.
yeah, the Film Crew.
Film Crew
Yeah,
is an
those guys are
actual
like
other
7
channel.
years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, 7 years old and still haven't released a second video, but we're
the
already
YouTube
on.
channel. The YouTube channel, 7 years old. Not
um,
the people.
but yeah, wherever you guys hear us, thank you.
Thank you.
I know we did blow up our Instagram a little bit on following you guys. So if you guys did get a follow from Film Crew 7, that's us. So
Correct.
just give us a follow back.
Yes. And
But anyways, we got things to do today, but we're
yes,
not going to talk about
yes, we have
it.
things, stuff.
So with that being said, once again, we're Film Crew,
Yes, and I
and
am yes,
you're
idiots.
yes.
My
Oh,
name is yes, idiots,
my name is No.
and we are film dudes. All right.
Film Crew, Film Crew. Don't look up Film Dudes, Film Crew.
Yeah,
That's probably where all our listeners are going. Film Dudes.
film dudes or movie guys or film idiots, film
Oh,
chumps. All right,
but yeah, once again, I'm Gasper.
and I'm not. We'll see you
And
all
we're
next
Film Crew.
time. Yeah.
All right.
We also don't have an outro either. We'll probably have one soon.